I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles, located at 204 East McGalley Road in Muncie and on eBay as well. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit. Hey, what is up, y'all? This is Alex from Plus3 TCG, and I'm coming at y'all with a deck profile. We are going to be looking at the Musketeer boys. Now that we have Pot of Extravagance, even though it doesn't necessarily interact with the magical Musketeers like Upstart Goblin or any of the other pot cards do, this card gives us a lot better advantage, I would argue, because we don't use the extra deck at all. There's maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 cards that we could arguably go into, but it's a last-ditch effort to clear the board, and it's not really that effective, so we don't worry about our extra deck at all. And Pot of Extravagance just gets us into the cards that will further extend our plays. Same thing as all the other pot cards, it's just that it's slightly less advantageous because you can't obviously like summon one and then activate the Extravagance. This has to be the first thing you do, but you're inherently going to go +1. So starting off with more cards, you have a better chance of opening up the magical Musketeer cards that you need to go off. So without further ado, no more talking, let's just get right into this profile. I wanted to feature this deck again because of Extravagance, to showcase that you can still play this deck even though you have to kind of buy an expensive card. Extravagance right now it's kind of expensive, but let's just hope it goes down eventually. 3 Casper, no need to explain here. You just need 3 of pretty much all of the good ones. 3 Casper, 3 Doc. You could argue to cut this to 2 because this is one of the worst ones to open up without an extender outside of Starfire. I would say this is more important though, because to make sure you're playing 3, because we're playing ties, of course. This one recycles your stuff. Kid Brave draws you cards. You're trying to max out on the 3s because of playing ties, so we just want to see 3s in the deck so that we can keep our ties of the brethren alive. And then we're still only playing 2 Starfire because I still don't think this card is that good. But if you open up like a decent extender, we did lose Upstart because it conflicts with Pot of Extravagance, and Pot of Extravagance is arguably better than Upstart. Maybe there's like a reason to play just 1 Upstart and still play the 2 Pot of Extravagance, because I really can't see a reason why, honestly. It would just be so that Caspar can be more alive, but it's a 1 of 40, so the likelihood of drawing it is low, and you're playing more Pot of Extravagance. So I still think the ratios of the Magical Musketeer should be the 3-3-3 and then 2. If you want to play any more, it's probably just for like a locals or something, but this is your most consistent option, I would argue. And then for the rest of the monsters, just 3 Ash. You're going second Interruption. Ideally, we're not going second in this deck though, we're going first. We still are playing cards to go second though. And then 2 Pot of Extravagance. Probably should be 3. I can't really warrant buying 3 of these right now. 2 is cool, I guess. Statistically, it's not much less of the likelihood that you're going to see it. It's not that much less, but ideally you'd probably be playing 3. Just deck space is kind of tight. 3 ties, no explanation there. The deck hasn't changed that much, but with the addition of Pot of Extravagance, this deck can shine slightly more. Of course, 3 Cross Domination. Still only playing 1 Steady Hands because now that we're playing, especially since we're playing Extravagance, we don't need to worry about banishing this card, because this card is your additional extender to get into your Magical Musketeer plays, because even though it doesn't do anything going first outside of just being a spell you can activate, going second it can do stuff as well, so it's worth just playing 1. Speaking of the going second cards, Twin Twisters. This deck has always had a problem with breaking boards, and until we get that broken ass link, we don't have a way to like get into our extenders that get us the stuff to help break boards, so we have to rely on just drawing into them. And that's why we're playing the Extravagance, because it just helps us draw cards without banishing cards to get banishing cards from deck that could be resources for ties. Anyways, so until we get the Link Monster, we have to play cards like that, and we have to play cards like this to clear boards, because back row hurts a lot, even though you can kind of use that to your advantage. This deck is it's low and slow, so we need to be able to pick apart our opponent's boards if we do have to go second. One of the best ways right now to do that is with Twin Twisters. Previously we were playing Raigeki, but with Thunder Dragons and with Guard Dragons and with Salamangreats, all of those have like protection effects, and not so much the Crusadia Guard Dragon. They just have a shit ton of negates that you have to play through, so it's, you're gonna be hard pressed to play through. So maybe you could play like Evenly Matched instead of Twin Twisters, because Evenly Matched does a good job of clearing boards. Called by the Grave, so that our ties go through. Well, we're not really worried about our extravagance going through. They can go ahead and ash that if they want. We just want our cast bar to go through. We want our Starfires to go through. We want our ties especially to go through. So probably just save Call by the Grave for ties, unless you don't have another choice. 3 Desperado, because this is one of the best actual muskets to draw into, because it's spot removal. This one helps a lot in the Salamangreat matchup, and Striker, and well, I'm not seeing as much Ultrageist online, and we don't see much representation in the meta. So we're mainly just using this for the Striker matchup and Salamangreat, but man, this deck still struggles against those decks. But you have to open kind of broken. And then we're playing 1 Fiendish Steel and then 1 Dancing Needle. This helps a lot against Crusadia, Guard Dragon, Sky Striker. It has so many good matchups. So that is why we are main decking it now, because a lot of the stuff floats, Salamangreats, everything floats now. So I think this is a very good one to be playing both of these, because this one is just another essentially extender at this point. So if you have to like throw it under a Starfire, which isn't terrible, and then just hope you have an additional extender at that point. Throw this into Starfire summons the cast bar, and then your additional extender for cast bar to get you whatever you need. And then we're playing a small Solemn Brigade. I don't know about small, but we're just playing 2 strike, 1 warning, and 1 judgment. Like I said, the deck doesn't have a lot. It's the same thing as last time. We're worrying about getting the cards off the board, and these cards do that pretty well. It just stops the normal summon completely, versus Strike, where it just stops the effect, and we already have a card that does that. It just doesn't destroy it. It's just an effect failure. So we're just trying to make sure we can maintain board advantage. That is the main deck, though, y'all. If you want to see... all right, I'm just going to show the extra deck, because I'm sure there's going to be someone in the comment section who asks, like, what's the extra deck? But it truly, truly does not matter. Just play a bunch of Cherries targets. I guess you might summon this because it's big, but you can already make your stuff fairly big. Nightmare Shark to attack for game. These are the ones that you're probably actually summoning. Maybe your rank 3s. Still really isn't that effective. Everything else is Cherries targets. Combo decks, the Orcus, Altergeist if you see them, Salamangreats, Heavy Metal Foes, Electromite. This is for the combo decks. The Dragon stuff, Saryuja especially. You might summon Phoenix, maybe. You already have spot removal. Same thing with Unicorn. You might as well just Cherries this thing, because you're not going to be able to summon this effectively. Borload is a Cherries target, but if for some reason you got real nasty, I have summoned Borload in this deck before to out problematic cards, but you can only do that in like turn 4, turn 5. It's just not happening, really. Dark Law, because that's just the bane of this deck. And then Buster Dragon, I guess. You can probably play a Colossus if you want, but Colossus is an expensive Cherries target, let me tell you what. But that's the main and extra deck, y'all. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Let me know if you think that Extravagance is worth it. I know that I mentioned some reasons why it could conflict with the deck, but I don't think that those reasons are really that big of a deal. I do think that Pot of Extravagance is an excellent card for this deck because it helps you dig for your extenders and your starters. So even though you have to play this right off the bat, you're still starting with an extra card and essentially at no cost to you because you don't play the extra deck. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below, y'all. And this is Alex from Plus3 TCG, signing out.